It's Tuesday, the 27th of October. Thank you for joining us here on Take Stock Market Open with me, Taha Siddiqui.
And I'm Zain Suhurwardi. We'll start off today by taking a look at the first trading session of the local equity market's performance. It was a good day for the Karachi stock market, extending on Friday's gains. The Karachi stock market KSE 100 index yesterday opened on a positive note. Most importantly, stayed in the positive all throughout the day, mainly on optimism being driven on account of, number one, the achievements of the military operation in the northern part of Pakistan. Along with that, we saw renewed foreign inflows coming into the local equity market, with key interest coming into the OMC sector as well as the banking sector. Now, the OMC sector did continue to gain on the back of international oil prices, which have been rising, and we have been seeing them consistently above $80 a barrel. Along with that, some other positive news coming in from the Pakistani economy were that, number one, there was a positive meeting between the PML and the PPP that gave in a positive indication. Along with that, $700 million worth of military assistance was approved by the US Congress. That came in as a positive statement for the Pakistani economy. Credit Suisse came out with the prediction that the Karachi stock market will reach the level of 11,200 points by the end of the fiscal year. And yesterday in our Market Open program, we did talk to Mr. Ninda Mitra, senior analyst at Moody's Investor Services, and he did say that they remain pretty optimistic on the Pakistani economy on a longer term perspective. And as far as investors are concerned, longer term investors are still in the Karachi stock market, and going forward they will continue to remain very positive on the market. Moody's itself said that they will maintain the positive outlook on Pakistan as well. So all of this combined did bring in positive sentiment for the Karachi stock market, which yesterday closed at a level of 9,374 points, up by 223 points. With Taha's positive sentiments continued, and more importantly, the E&P sector and the banking sector dominated proceedings yesterday in the market.
Definitely banking and E&P did dominate proceedings, and along with positive developments, as you mentioned, taking place over the national economy, which was much sought by the general business community. Obviously, other positive triggers also pushed the market in the green zone. The TFCs would officially start to trade at the local equity market from the 2nd of November. And another thing was that the client level margining system, previously only 44 scripts were allowed to be were applicable to be used under this system. Now that number of 44 has been enhanced to 60 now, and this was an official word by the SECP, and this would also help to boost the trading volumes at the local equity market. Yesterday, almost 196 million shares changed hands at the Karachi Stock Exchange, as opposed to 195 on Monday. So the turnover did go up slightly, you could say, by 0.5%, but positive sentiments did prevail over the local equity market. Foreign portfolio investors again returned, because for the past few sessions we had seen that the foreign portfolio investors were on the sidelines, and obviously, because of them, local participants also did not opt to take part in the daily transactions at the stock exchange. So yesterday, foreign portfolio investors did inject an amount of $4.7 million at the local equity market. And as Zen also mentioned, we spoke to Ninda Mitra, senior analyst at Moody's, and he was optimistic, saying that long-term investors are going to remain in the country despite the ongoing security situation and the ongoing security threats that the country does face. Short-term investors, yes, they have fled, but they would return, because returns, if you're talking about how much the equity market is giving out these days, according to this report by the Credit Suisse, 60% returns have been already made, and that is a very good sign. And long-term investors, according to Moody's, are going to come back, and FDI numbers are going to improve significantly. But Moody's was, and Ninda Mitra was saying that the key concern for the government right now is how they address this ongoing terrorist threat. And secondly, the domestic issues and the political issues between the political parties, they need to be curbed in order for these foreign investors to return.
True, but all problems being pointed out by foreign investors are being dealt with as we speak. The military operation is undergoing. Along with that, we're seeing some positives between the political setup of the country as well. So all of that is posing a very positive picture for the economy of Pakistan. As far as concerns of investors, both local and foreigners, are concerned, they are being addressed as well. One other aspect which also keeps investment at a low level in Pakistan right now, as well as industrial activity at a low, is the high inflation scenario in Pakistan. Along with that, interest rates are at a high level as well. But going forward, expectations are that inflation numbers would be coming down as well, and that would bring in a positive sentiment to the overall business activity in the country overall as well. Now, as far as yesterday's market concerns are taken into consideration, we saw the bullish momentum starting off on the last day of the trading session in the previous week. We saw Friday the market closing on a positive note, and we saw about 195 million shares being traded in the market. Yesterday, That positivity continued to a greater level. We saw the Karachi stock market gaining by 223 points. And as Taha mentioned, $4.7 million worth of buying came in from foreign investors in the local equity market. And this we had been mentioning in the previous week as well when the South Waziristan operation did start. We did see a couple of negative sessions in the local equity market, but many analysts were of the opinion that as the Swat operation, as the military gains further control of the particular area and an indication is given into the international arena as well as local participants, that sooner rather than later we will be seeing an end to the terrorism activities in Pakistan. That would bring in a positive sentiment, and that positivity is now being seen in further sort of clarification on that particular point, or further confidence building measures on that particular point, is the fact that number one, Credit Suisse came out with a report suggesting the Karachi stock market will reach the level of 11,200 points. But they'd say that there is about a 40% upside potential still in the market before it reaches the highs from where the market did fall. Along with that, we saw Moody's being very positive in Pakistan, and they did say that they will maintain their positive outlook on the Pakistani economy as well. So all of that does pose pretty good for the Pakistani economy, and on the back of that, we saw all of these positive activities continuing in the market. Now, E&P sector, of course, is one of the biggest sectors of the Karachi stock market, and with international oil prices on a high level at the moment, we are seeing some good activity in that particular sector as well. The quarter results which have so far come in have also been positive, especially for the E&P sector alone as well as the banking sector, and that did bring in some positive sentiment to the Karachi stock market as well. So overall, the picture seems to be quite stable, the picture seems to be good, and if we take a look at the economic situation of Pakistan, economic numbers have been ever improving. Our current account deficit improved. Along with that, remittance numbers have also been improving.
Definitely, and that indicates the fact that your dollar inflow is still quite healthy, quite active as far as dollars coming into the national economy is concerned. And as we have been mentioning here on our show, that the State Bank did issue out a first quarterly report which completely gave a very good picture of and also expectations of what we should be expecting from the days to come. That the first quarter, as far as the national economy is concerned, was a brilliant one for the Pakistani economy, and the trade deficit coming down, remittances numbers going up, inflation, headline inflation falling down to 10.12%, all clearly indicating the fact that the economy is headed for the right path, and international brokerage houses also having a very optimistic picture as well. The Karachi stock market for the second trading session has opened on a bullish note yet again, continuing from where